Hey everyone, I'm your host Brittany Jones Cooper and welcome back to Build. Believe it or not, Mean Girls premiered 15 years ago today, and the teen comedy accurately reflected the ridiculousness of high school while providing some of the most memorable movie quotes ever. Today I'm sitting down with Daniel Franzese, who played Damian, and he's here to talk about that role, his comedy, and much more. Please put your hands together for Daniel.
Hey, how's everybody doing?
Better now that you're here. I mean, what a cloudy, stupid morning here.
I love it. I love like a gloomy New York day. Like, give it to me. Yeah, I love it.
God. Well, you're making me be more of an optimist because I woke up like, can we just get some sun?
Sorry, I'm so happy. I know.
Well, you have a lot of reasons to be happy. I mean, I can't believe it's been 15 years
Isn't it
since
crazy?
Mean Girls. I mean, it was such an influential movie for me. Obviously, it changed your life a little bit.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's been a movie that a lot of people identified with. It exposed girl world, and so we know how girls now treat each other and that kind of thing. And I think it was also something that was impactful for LGBTQ people, especially of size or just different people in general. My character sort of resonated with them, so I find that as a blessing.
Yeah, definitely. And now we're 15 years later, but I want to kind of go back to the beginning. How did you audition for Mean Girls? How did you find out about it? What was that process like for you?
Marcy Liroff cast the movie, but Susan Shopmaker did the New York casting, and she had cast me in Party Monster and a few other little things. And she called me in to read for it, and then called me in to read for the director, Mark Waters and Tina Fey. And I was just like in the waiting room, and Tina was talking to Amanda Seyfried, who was trying out for Regina. And she had like a tan shirt and a maroon shirt, and she was like, I don't know which one I should wear. And I was like, I'd go with the Merlot. Like, and Tina like whipped around, and she thought it was funny, and we talked a little bit. And then when I came in an audition, she was like, I like you. I thought you just worked in the office. Let's do this. And so that kind of gave me like, got me a little hype. And then they called me, flew me out to LA, told me I didn't have the part yet. I had dinner with the whole cast, and then I did the table read, and I had to wait a whole nother week. And then like they were just like, hey, on Monday, like report to set, like in Toronto, you got the job. And I was just like, oh, this is crazy.
And what was the vibe like on set? Because it felt like everybody was really kind of at the beginning of their careers, and since then we've seen everybody sort of take off in their own ways.
We were excited. I mean, I worked mostly with Lizzie Kaplan, who's hysterical and a great comedian. And like, so we would sit down and we'd go with Tina and go over our scenes and find the beats and the rhythms and make like small minor adjustments and stuff. So it was very collaborative and just a really good time.
What was your most memorable day on set when you look back at that time?
I always think about when I sang Beautiful in the spring playing. Yeah, that day was really fun for me. The Don't Look at Me was great because I discovered that listening to the CD because she says it on the song. And I was like, hey, Tina, can I say Don't Look at Me and you don't look at me? She was like, yeah, let's try it. And then, but what's significant about it is my mom had flown to Toronto and we made pepperoni bread, me, her, and Lizzie Kaplan for the whole cast and crew. And that day, when I'm singing Beautiful, I'm the only person in the audience is my mom. So when you see the whole audience, that was the next day with the camera behind me. But when I was singing it, I was just making my mom laugh in the audience. So that was like really fun for me.
Is that like at the end when you do that little high note? You're not on camera?
Well, they didn't want us to do the whole song. It was a new song. But Linda Perry, who wrote the song, released it because Damian was gay. So she allowed it to be sung, so I thought that was really chill.
And let's talk about Damian because I recently read something about the evolution of the gay best friend, and Damian's mentioned in that wrap-up just about how we've seen that role sort of evolve and change. And for you, it was really pivotal for you in your life to play Damian.
It was. I was in the closet at the time, and all the gay roles that I had read had just been like, the standard like Hollywood sissy role or like something that was like making fun of gay people. They were the butt of the joke. This was so significant to me because Damian was just able to breathe. He could like walk through the hallways like with his head held high and not get like his, he wasn't like thrown in a locker or have his head, like, they'd try to fit me in a locker, it wasn't gonna work anyway. But like, but trying to figure out, just being able to survive. And I think that it gave a lot of hope for people who saw that for survival and acceptance in a time when it wasn't as prevalent as it is today.
Yeah. And I read that for you wish you had a character like Damian.
I do, I wish. I mean, I might've been more comfortable. For me, it was a little bit of like, you always say, I wish I could go back to high school and know what I know now. This was an opportunity for me as an artist to take some of the pain and things that I had experienced in high school and then like wash it away by going in and like recording it in like a revisionist way. So it was really nice to be able to do that. I felt a little, cathartic to be able to just go into that role and be myself.
Yeah. And Damian is such a robust character. I mean, he was always one of my favorite. I think probably the most quotable character
Well, I mean,
in the movie. I mean, what is the line that your fans come up with you the most with?
I think Glen Cocco sort of like You Go Glen Cocco has kind of like, it became like adjacent to You Go Girl. Like it became like a thing that people would say. Because it's so ironic that the most popular girl in school at the time is only getting 1, and then Glen Cocco gets 4. It's like, who is this guy? Like, what did he do? And my secret narrative is probably Damian had a crush on Glen Cocco and rigged that too. I mean, who knows? Got to give him some kind of love interest, right?
Love that. I want some fan fiction about that.
Yeah, it probably exists. This movie's been dissected. Like, it's all out there already.
I would imagine. So I know tonight you do have you do have a big show tonight.
Yeah, Comic Strip Live in New York City.
Yes.
I'm so excited about it. I'm headlining. It's kind of like my first. I've done shows out here, but it's my first comedy club headlining gig in New York City. I do a lot of LA. I do a lot of other places. So it's exciting for me. And we're celebrating the 15th anniversary by only making it $15. So we're definitely going to sell out. But it's going to be really fun. And I have Jonathan Bennett is going to make an appearance, and Rajiv Saranger, who plays Kevin G, is going to make an appearance. So it's going to be really fun. And I assembled like the coolest, meanest girls I know to come and like perform. So it's going to be great.
So it's going to be different performances. Is there any specific Mean Girls moments in the show, or will it just be?
I mean,
we're
definitely going to be celebrating it and just like having a really good time. You can't. It's going to be a Mean Girls moment if you got all the Mean Girls guys there. So it's definitely going to be part of it.
How has your comedy evolved then for you over the last 15 years from when you kind of did this film to now? Because you're on the road all the time, you're doing shows all the time.
You know, it's actually funny. I've been doing comedy pretty much my whole life, and like 20 years in comedy of like doing sketch and improv and storytelling. But I didn't really explore stand-up until the 10th anniversary when I came out of the closet, because it was like, I felt like I could be more authentic, you know? I never wanted to be like, I'm with this girl Friday, like, or some kind of thing like that. Like, that wasn't like my style, you know? And it's funny because when I thought that maybe I'd sound gay or act gay or I don't even know. I was like all in my head about all that stuff. And so it's so freeing. It's like a backpack full of bricks is off of me to be able to be my authentic self and just say whatever I want and have a good time. And it's so funny because my comedy is mostly just about me making fun of my mom. Like, so it's
Wait,
like,
you make fun of your mom?
all the time. I have this ish Italian mom say on YouTube, which everyone should check out, where I dress as my mom in drag. And yeah, that's her catchphrase. Phenomenal. Yeah, that's so weird you did that, because she's like phenomenal. Like, it's a very Brooklyn lady thing to say. But yeah, so I've done that, and that's gotten like so much attention over the years from people. Italian Mom has her own following on Facebook, and it's like this whole thing that has become huge in my career as well. So I like marry the two in my comedy.
What does your mom think about it?
She loves it. She thinks it's phenomenal. No, she thinks that like the best thing I've ever done is those YouTube videos. So.
So what keeps comedy interesting for you? Because after, now doing it for 28 years.
Well, I feel like comedy's ever evolving. Comedians are like the jesters. We're the ones that sort of like set the tone for like what's happening around us. And since we're in this like crazy political climate right now, I think it's like really focusing on escapism. So my comedy's not political. It's not alienating. It like brings people together. Like everyone could like laugh at it because they're just basically laughing at my life. But I think that I try to do things that like bring people together. Yeah.
Talking about bringing people together, you host a monthly show out in West Hollywood, right?
Yes, I have.
And it's a LGBTQ showcase.
Right. So we kind of have like our Corny Collins Gay Day, like because gay comedians don't really have the same spotlight as other comedians, and it's kind of weird. We're always like we have like a token spot on some shows and things like that. So at the world famous Comedy Store, which is arguably like one of the biggest comedy places in the world, I have the only gay show, and we pack the house. We're sold out every month, and it just highlights all these awesome LGBTQ comedians. I have a second show at Flappers in Burbank, which does LGBTQ comedians and allies and icons. And so it's really fun to see everybody perform. I mean, we've had really big lesbian headliners, and we've had really big non-binary people headline, but we've never had like a gay male headliner that would sell out Madison Square Garden yet. It just hasn't happened in the history of comedy. And it's probably because gay people aren't funny, but I don't know. I don't really know what it is, but if it's not gonna be me, or maybe it will be, but if it's not gonna be me, I wanna showcase the person who it might be. So I'm just trying to put a rainbow spotlight on all the talented people of the rainbow, of the LGBTQ plus IA, everybody. Like, come be funny. on stage, regardless of that kind of stuff. And I think that when you're a gay comedian and you're in a straight show, you have to lead with like, I'm gay. Like, but when you're in a gay show, you have to go deeper into like what you think about the world. You know, and a lot of comedians only really have 5 to 15 minutes to kind of give you like a little bit of their perspective. So we want to get to like the next level of what they're thinking about what's going on right now. So that's what it is. If you want some next level LGBTQ comedy, come to West Hollywood Brunch at the Comedy Store in Los Angeles. It's so much fun. It's called West Hollywood Brunch, even though it starts at 8 p.m. because that's when we wake up.
Why do you think there aren't more LGBTQ shows? I'm actually really surprised that that's the only.
I'm curious.
Yeah.
I'm curious myself. I want to know. I want to be booked on them, you know? And I come here to New York and I do really big shows here. I do House of Glen Cocco shows. This is like another example of that. Like I try to bring people and keep it very mixed and keep it very fun and diverse. But I don't know. I mean, I think that predominantly stand-up has been a straight white male world. And, we've been living in a straight white male world, period. And I think that that's all breaking down. Like, we're seeing that shift politically. We're seeing that shift in a lot of different ways. So it's like, this is another example of that. Comedy always mirrors what's going on in the world. And I think it's time for changes. So I think that that's where we're at right now. Please go out and support your hilarious gay comedians.
And is there any more acting in your future? I remember seeing you on Looking. Like, is there anything
absolutely.
else in the near future?
I'm holding out for the hero, Like, I used to live in a world where, like, I would have to, like, take a movie to pay rent. But now it's kind of like I'm focusing on my tour. I'm focusing on writing and creating. I'm going to be directing a feature soon. There's a lot of things that I'm going to be doing in the future. So I'm just waiting for the right role to come around. I had a great experience working on HBO's Looking. And I had several other television shows like Recovery Road and Conviction. And so those are roles that I really wanted to do. So I'd rather wait around for something that I really want to do. And in the meantime, just like really focus on live entertainment, theater and comedy and everything else.
Is it important for you to represent an LGBTQ character, or are you open to just playing whatever character comes to you?
I'm open to playing anything, but I do think that I'm really excited by the way queer characters are being written nowadays. We have such complex emotions and storylines and everything else. And, it wasn't like that in 2004. I'm not just coming out with like a feather boa for laughs. Like, it's more about like getting deeper into who these people are, It's kind of even like Pete Buttigieg is like one of the Democratic hopefuls, right? But he's somebody who like, the eighth thing about him is that he's gay. And I think that's like that's the kind of stories that we're telling now, that a lot of the characters that we're seeing, like the gay isn't number one, So I think that that is an exciting thing for me to pursue, is like try to find characters that have fully realized arcs that change during the process instead of just being there to like just be the best friend or whatever.
Absolutely, I'm right there with you. I'm so excited with where we are in just media in general, like TV, all this stuff, like amazing narratives that I grew up not getting to see.
Oh yeah, like Ryan Murphy, Stephen Canales, like all these people are creating these incredible, incredible, like really fully thought out characters. What I would like to see more, honestly, truthfully, if I had a complaint, is a lot of our big icons, a lot of our gay icons, and a lot of are being played by straight people, and a lot of our really big romantic stories are being played by straight people. It's kind of like, why? Like, why can't we tell our own stories? We're like not to that level yet. I want to see like prestige films, and we still need like, I mean, I know you have Dustin Lance Black, who's like a great gay icon who has won an Oscar, but we haven't had a gay leading actor win an Oscar and be out of the closet at the same time. And I think there's a lot of things that we still have to accomplish. There's a lot of things on like the LGBTQ bucket list in entertainment that we deserve, that we've been fighting for, that we've been working towards for so many years, that really need to happen, And even though I'm really excited about the trans movement that we're having, I don't want it to eclipse like the other things that we're still trying to do too. We should all be doing it together. So.
Absolutely. Snaps to that. I love that.
Yeah.
Before we go, I know we do have 2 questions. So who do we have first?
Hi, I was wondering if you still have anything from the set of Mean Girls.
Do I have anything from the set of Mean Girls? I had all the clothes. I wasn't allowed to keep any of the clothes that I wore, but I did have all of the clothes that I didn't wear. Which, like, it's like, what does that mean? But, like, I had a really extensive, incredible wardrobe on that show. I've since worn all those clothes out. I think that the only thing I've left is, like, memories and maybe some photos.
Thank you.
I was hoping you were going to say, like, the small piece of the crown that...
I mean, I could lie and go to the dollar store and get you one. Like,
that would make me feel better as a fan. And one more question.
Hi. We actually have an online question.
All right.
So they're just wondering if you have any particular favorite or memorable fan encounter after Mean Girls.
Oh man, the fans are crazy for this movie. Like they really run the gamut, you know. And I think that the weirdest thing that ever happened was somebody was asking me for my audition when I was at a urinal. I mean my autograph, not my audition. They were like, "Hey, can I have your autograph?" And I was like, "Maybe when my hands are free." I don't know, like, you know, or people like. You know, accidentally calling me Damian, like when they're talking to me or something like that. Those are also like really weird, you know. But what's crazy about this is it keeps getting discovered by new generations. So I really enjoy the kids, like the 14-year-olds, like and stuff like that, that are still just really excited about everything. I think that's like some of the most fun stuff. It's really fun to just send them like, you know, Glen Cocco, like mug or something, and like have them freak out, like my niece's friends.
That is a beautiful thing about this movie is that I've gone back to watch it several times since, and it just holds up because the themes are so universal, really. It's not just about high school. Like, there's so much you can glean from it.
I don't really know many movies that are 15 years old that are still like celebrated and like and put out there. I mean, I'm very fortunate, you know, blessed and highly favored to like be a part of this show, you know, and I don't think that I would really be out promoting a 15-year-old movie if the fact that Damian was so impactful, you know, like I've had so many grown men like be in tears or have conversations with me about how important it was for them to see someone like them on screen. I just know I keep thinking about some random, like in my head, like Christian girl in like Texas who was able to take her gay friend to dinner because she's like, "Mom, stop, he's just like Damian." Or just, it was a way that people can sort of identify with someone who is 16 and maybe sort of queer. And Damian's not very sexualized in the movie, like, and that was on purpose. They said he was in that, he knew he was gay, but he was in that sweet spot right before you even have your first kiss. And I thought that was such a vulnerable, interesting, non-exploitive way to sort of show somebody who was queer. And I think that made him very palatable for a lot of people and probably saved a lot of kids a lot of grief. And I think that that's such a cool thing. At the 10th anniversary, I got a letter from someone who said, I don't know if you're gay or not, and it doesn't matter. And that part made me want to come out like right then. But then he said, when I was in 8th grade, I was beat up for being chubby and tortured for being a sissy. But then your movie came out, and in 9th grade, on the first day of school, the popular senior girls were like, "You're like Damian, come sit with us." And he thanked me for sort of changing his entire like school experience. And I mean, that was so impactful to me. I felt so many complex human emotions just as like an actor who has like a person who has appreciation for my art, but also as like an activist and a person who like really wants to see the community grow, and how realizing 10 years later how much impact that did have for certain people. And I think that's a really beautiful thing. And that's why I lean into Mean Girls all the time. Rather than it being self-sufficient, I just want people to know that I appreciate that fact, and I want to honor that with not hiding the fact that I'm proud of the movie.
Absolutely. I'm proud of the movie. I'm proud that you're here talking to me about it because, like I said, it was something that really was impactful for a lot of us growing up, and it's just great to talk about it and see how it's impacted your life in such an amazing way, really. If you guys want to check out Daniel's headlining at the Comic Strip Live tonight for the Mean Girls 15th anniversary, give it up for Daniel Franzese.
Hey.